and smoking dope back then. And that's, while that may be true, I want to clarify that I have been drug-free since 1979 and alcohol-free since 1989. So none of my encounters happened under the influence, so to speak. Yeah, let's get that straight, because a lot of people be going, oh, yeah, he's on dope and now that happened. No, I wasn't. I was clean and sober when it happened. And surprisingly, I've stayed clean and sober that long. There are times when I want to twist off, but I don't.
Yeah, and I was supposed to tell you that Joe says hello.
Okay. Sounds like one.
I think he would be listening. I think he would be listening in. I said, I think he would be listening in, but he told me his signal was kind of weak where he's at. So.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. You're in Arkansas. It's going to be weak up there. Of course, I'm on the Gulf Coast right now, so you're lucky you even being able to hear me.
Oh, well, you sound good. Well, let's get back to the subject here. I think you was talking about UFOs and your experience. Can you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about some more, or you know?
Well, you know what I was thinking is I always do better with questions. I've actually lectured on Bigfoot at Lamar University here in Beaumont, Texas, on the subject of Bigfoot. And inevitably, I always get one person that says, well, I've been in the woods all my life. I ain't never seen one. And I have to look at him and go, you know, I've been in the woods all my life, too. And I was, you know, it was only about 20 years ago when I had my first encounter. You know, you have to kind of look at it from my point of view and say, look, I've been to church all my life, too. And I believe in God. Just because I've never seen God. I've never had a vision of God come to me. But that doesn't mean I don't believe. Sometimes you have to have faith that there may be something there that you've never encountered. And I'll guarantee you, if you're out in the woods, there's a squirrel sitting in a tree watching you, and you didn't even see that squirrel. And it could be one of them big old 20-pound cat squirrels, you know. To have a little faith that there might be something there that you don't know about. I know I've been wearing a white T-shirt, blue jeans, and white tennis shoes, and had people walk right past me in the woods and never even see me. When you're in the woods, a lot of people get in the woods, they get that tunnel vision going. They see one thing, what's on the ground in front of them or what's straight ahead of them. They don't look around. And so it's like I tell people, you know, you have to open your eyes to other possibilities. You can't just say, oh, well, I ain't never seen one, therefore they ain't there. A lot of people that I've known over the years have changed their tune about that and come to me later going, hey, this happened. And, you know, I just look at them and go, yeah, I know. I understand. I can tell you exactly what happened after that happened. You know, and I know the feeling. I know how it feels. I know what it's like to walk into the woods and go, somebody is watching me. And no, I'm the only one in the woods. Well, know that I'm the only human in the woods.
I shouldn't say only human in the woods, yeah.
The only human in the woods. But now, that's not to say these things are not human. I don't know. I don't have any. I've not seen any definitive proof one way or another, but I do know that chimpanzees have 98.5% of the exact same DNA as us, and if anything pops up in the woods that's got 98.6% or more, they're human also. So my next thought would be, and I have people tell me all the time, oh, if I ever see one, I'll kill it just so I can, say I got one. And so we'll have some proof. And I look at them and go, yeah, but you have to look at it like this. If it proves to be Homo sapien, haven't you just committed homicide?
Well, that's an interesting fact.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, I've been in the woods all my life, and I'm 43 years old. Personally, I've never seen a Bigfoot, but there's too much evidence out there for there not to be something to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's riddled throughout our culture, even. And the only thing is that I mean, let's put it like this: when was the first recorded sighting? If you'll go to Google Maps and download Bigfoot sightings over the years, and go back to say start around 1830, and see and just scroll out and see where the Bigfoot sightings start popping up at. The first one that pops up is in 1841 in Tennessee. So there are hundreds of them. Everybody goes, oh, what, is it just one or what? Is just 2 or 3 of them out there? No, is it the same one every time? No.
I got the question last night when we had a group here. We had a guest group here last night talking, and off the air they were asking about the Bigfoot and stuff, and they were asking me if I think there was just one. I said, no, I think there's a herd of them. They're a family, because people have seen the guy, and they've seen the girl, and they've seen juveniles, So why would it be just one appearing in different forms,
Right. Well, now here's something too you need to take into consideration, and I had, based on Jane Goodall's methods of estimating groups of these of apes. Well, like a group of baboons is a congress. And I don't know what you call a group of chimpanzees or apes. I guess a gang, I think, is what it is. But these clans, as I like to call them, I prefer to call them, based on the sightings and times of day that the sightings have occurred and the areas in which they occurred, in one 6-county area in East Texas, I estimated 150 to 200 of them. Now, I have a friend of mine who's a dowser, and for those that don't know what a dowser is, it's like a water witch. But he would douse for anything really, missing persons or whatnot, He turned around and I didn't tell him the names of the counties, I just numbered them. And they were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And the biggest concentration of them he got was in Area 6, which was the county. I had 6 counties that I was traveling in and around and through during that time. And he dropped his dowsing rods, and he said, that just can't be right. Because I asked him to douse how many there were. And he said, and I said, okay. So I said, what's the matter? He said, well, I've come up with this really incredible number that I don't see. And he said, I just for some reason it can't be right. And so he went through, and we talked for about half hour, and he went back to the rods. He says, I'm going to try it again. Hold on. He put me on speaker. And he says, my God, he says, I keep coming up with the number of 147. What are your estimates? I said, my estimates are 150 to 200. And he told me basically what route they were coming in, where they were coming through at, and his pretty much what we had found, where all the activity in the areas that we had found. He pretty much hit everything that we had discovered was what he was sitting in. He was in Georgia doing this. And here I was in East Texas, and he's telling me what I've already found. And he's doing it with a set of dowsing rods. So if anybody doubts dowsers, don't. Some of them are really, really good at what they do, and they're very factual in what they do. And he and I, this was probably the first time he and I had ever spoken. And over the last, I guess, 12, 15 years, we've become really good friends. But that was the very first time we spoke. We were talking about this, and he was dowsing these 6 counties for me that I was researching in. And he hit the nail pretty much on the head. So there's a lot to it. And that Stonewall, my research just came to a screeching halt. It got to the point where I was running into the same thing, and all the doors, it's just like somebody built a wall right there and stopped everything that I was running into. I was just running into over and over and over and over and over, and I couldn't get past it, and I couldn't figure out why. So it really ticked me off one day, and I took everything I had, and I had time. I had when I say it ticked me off, I mean I literally got mad enough to where I took everything I had, and I dumped it in a burn barrel and set it on fire. Say, I'm going to start from scratch. And then something occurred to me one day when I started reading about the American Indian. They didn't treat them as an animal. And I thought, I have to quit looking at this from a zoological point and start looking at it from an anthropological point. And so I quit looking at it from the viewpoint of a cryptozoologist and started looking at it from the viewpoint of a cryptoanthropologist. And doors just started opening again. So I started looking at them as a people and a culture. And that's when things started opening up again. I found new things that I hadn't thought about before. I don't know how to explain it. It just opened up a whole series of possibilities.
All right. I got a question for you, and that some of the another question was asked last night, and I couldn't answer it. Why are the Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call them, more in certain areas than other areas?
Why are they more in certain areas than in other areas? A lot of that has to do with the availability of food and water resources. And it's that simple. Man has encroached on their habitat, the natural habitat, for the last since 1400s, late 1400s, early 1500s in this country. That man has just been steadily cutting down the forest and building up their cities and stuff. And I think that's why there are more encounters nowadays than there were, back in the early 1900s, early 1900s and late 1800s, I should say. There are more encounters now than there were back then, because there are many more people now. And
right,
we're
the
cities are just getting larger, right? And we're encroaching on their territory.
Right.
One of the things a lot of people don't realize. Well, one of the things a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of the there are more natural woodlands in East Texas, from the Gulf Coast up through Texarkana and back towards Dallas, from the Louisiana state line back towards Dallas. There are more natural woodlands in East Texas than there are in all of Northern California, Oregon, and Washington states combined. So, yeah, we've got a lot of forest here, and there's a lot of places for them to hide. They can literally just stand still and be quiet, and people will walk right past them. People are so... the people are... It was like when we first started talking about tunnel vision. People have tunnel vision so bad when they get in the woods, they're looking for that deer or they're looking for that squirrel, but they're not looking at what's around them. And these things can sit right there and probably be 10 foot from you and never even see one.
And that's kind of strange, because as big as they are, I think that people would know
well,
it, but I know they blend.
Well, you